makes a tired old rock monster when you got...
These beats are the purest.
It's all my fault. We just wanted to make this day extra super duper special for you. Not even my bare-chested squat dancing helped. Oh, I tried my best.
And welcome everybody to the final week of Aurora Esports, and we have quite possibly the best matchup we could ask for you guys today. We got the Roosters, the 1 seed, versus the Quails, the 2 seed, and this is going to be a extraordinarily big match, BOON1E.
It's a very impactful match indeed, because with the Slovenian Slouchers taking the win earlier today against the Lancet Lancers 3-1, they have locked in our 2 seeds. Now the Quails fighting for that 3rd seed, and if they do win, it will push the Sydney Sea Dragons all the way down to 4. And with the Purple Apes game potentially going their way, that was going to see Sydney down to 5. So a huge shakeup in the bracket here, potentially, depending on what happens in the next couple days. And of course, the big story is the Quails losing out on Elko, losing out on kind of their star player, their MVP selection, but swapping it out for Neptune. A very, I think there's been kind of a discussion of who won this trade or who is the better player. You gotta think that Elko probably mechanically might be superior, but looking at Neptune in terms of leadership on the team could be a huge addition for the Quails. I know they're a comms-based team already, so add Neptune to the equation could get crazy. And this game should give us a good indication of who's the best moving forward in playoffs.
Yeah, and if you're asking for any player to enter, I guess, any environment on any role and just adapt, survive, and overcome another team, that's going to be Neptune. This guy is probably like the best thinker overall in Aurora Esports. So we're going to see how this matchup really pans out. A bit different approach, Paradox on the Lucio versus Tukipook on the Juno for the Roosters. And a fight already breaking out. Ruse Ice Block 4 going to be forced a little bit early. 2 big walls on both sides, but no true advantage gained just yet.
Yeah, still going back and forth here, exchanges cooldowns, but a bit of space guard here. Bit of a odd wall coming out here, but it does isolate Rue long enough to take the Mei out of the fight. Now Win decides to go in aggressively here. Saikana having her healing really spread thin here. Thricer going down, and the Roosters take this first fight. And just, Pneumonia's wall didn't like complete isolate the team, but it got Rue in a really awkward position. And they isolate the kill on the Mei. It's a huge cooldown out of the way, and Roosters take advantage of that by pushing forward.
Yeah, and that was such a long, drawn-out fight, BOON1E. Look at the ultimates. EJ almost has his. We got Skyster on the other side. He's still going to be coming back from spawn to take this fight, but has the Annihilation on the cards. Right now, Ammonia getting a really big pick onto Neptune. Former teammates from the Shanghai Sayoris. I'm sure that will be a dynamic we're going to see throughout all of today. Right now, for the side of the Quails, they kind of just gotta wait. They have this Annihilation, but at this point in time, with the window, with the freeze, there's just so many options to just deny the space.
Oh, really? As Blizzard comes to the backline here as well. They're gonna push in here with Skyster using the ultimate, trying to defend his team from Pneumonia's Blizzard. Does well enough to actually isolate over onto Pneumonia and take the Mei out of the fight here, so still very doable. Windows Arc Exchange on the high ground, but Immortality feels instantly exploded. Neptune down first here. Casey Dunn trying to survive on point. Looking healed up by EJ, just enough to stay alive and get the headshot. Over on towards Skyster now, which is Paradox over on point. She's trying to get something done, but Casey Dunn light on the kill feed. And it's just Rue against the world right now is a good point. Will once again kind of tick up here for the Roosters, and they're going to invest a Blizzard here, Roar.
Yeah, and that's a very risky ultimate, especially when you have that wall for stability from Pneumonia so good, and then the orbital ray dropped on top from Tukipook. But the Quails, they still believe they can win this. Multiple ults invested. The Deadeye from Yukon, aka Neptune, not going to be able to find a target, but drops Wind extraordinarily low, forcing out the immortality field. Meanwhile, Wind had to pop the ultimate as well, so no ults on the card other than Paradox's beat, and losing Neptune, you're going to have to invest that there if you want even a chance on this first point of Antarctic Peninsula. Skystar's trying to push the aggression here, but they don't have the damage they need to survive it. And KC Dunn so quick to respond with the kill onto Rue. Wins there to clean up, and it looks like the Roosters will be showing why they are the deserving #1 seed, at least on the first point of Antarctic Peninsula.
And that, the last couple of fights there, definitely just the KC Dunn show. Laying the kill feed, find the headshots, but you gotta wonder to look back at Rue's Blizzard there. They use a Blizzard, but what it does keep them alive for a couple more seconds, but then once they return back to the fray, they're forced to use the immortality field to keep them alive. Sakan does not have that pivotal cooldown moving forward in the fight. EJ having a much later one, keeping the team alive, allows them to keep the positioning on that point, and then just kind of coming back and finding the kills of KC Dunn through all the pressure, and just the healing from EJ and Tukipook looking great on this Brig Juno backline. Of course, kind of I say the more slept on part of the Roosters is this backline. We always talk about Wind, the quote-unquote low diamond tank player, but EJ and Tukipook honestly heavily slept on, and a huge reason why Roosters are finding so much success, especially on these brawly looks. We're gonna have Neptune swap over on the Soldier and a lot more long range poke potentially trying to break down these shields of Wind, but KC Dunn's clocking heads, not what you can really do on the other side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously you can keep the range with this Sojourn pick, but overall, I mean, the comps still play effectively the same style. The thing that the Quails were doing very well, they were actually keeping space very nicely, but this time, Pneumonia's just going to completely deny that space. A nice little vertical wall, too, to absolutely explode Paradox, and leaving Sekana and Rue to just run away, escape with their lives, if they even can in this situation, as the point goes in favor of the Quails, or the Roosters.
Pneumonia, once again, a very pivotal wall in that fight. What it does, ices multiple targets, and then it came at just the right time to block off Sekan's immortality field to get the 2 kills on their side of it. Finding Paradox, couldn't wall right around, and now going in this fight, really no ult from either side, but positioning is favorable for the Roosters right now. Wind has a cooldowns ready to go for his re-engage. Speedring is there, another wall from Pneumonia, locks down Rue, has to use a block here early. Now Neptune take control of the high ground, trying to Pokemon out here, gets something done by Pneumonia. 20% towards his Blizzard, could be a fight changer mid-fight.
Yep, definitely looking for it in this fight. It seems like just walls on cooldown, tanks just facing off against each other, damage being dealt more so to the side of the Quails. I mean, look at their health bars. Skyster, the wall from Pneumonia is actually going to be a saving grace for him in that situation, because he was dropped dangerously low. It feels like they're losing on all accounts, and now the annihilation right in their face, that's going straight through the window, denying a lot of the value that can be provided, and he's just surviving through it on such small HP. Even when Wind goes down, it's already too late. The team's cleaned up, Sekana's off the map, and it feels like the chances for the Quails wins are slowly slipping away.
Slowly slipping away because you're able to get out the window in exchange for your annihilation. Now you'll have your support coming up. We're seeing the difference right now between the Lucy healing and the Juno. Juno has a speed ring, so same utility, but just keeping Wind alive through all that pressure in the front line, something that Paradox just cannot do for Skyster right now. And I mean, you look at this, Skyster only 7% to his first ultimate, while Wind building at 10% to his next one. Still, a high ground is gained control here by the Quails, trying to step Neptune and Rue on the high ground, but Pneumonia has Blizzard ready to go.
Yep, and Skyster realizes they need to change something up. They need to engage on the backline, and they're not even going to be able to get the Blizzard off. Neptune forced to pop the overclock, forced to try and win a fight here. A beat sacked on top of it, too. And finally going to be able to get the KO, finally going to be able to meet his mark on Pneumonia. Skyster tries to go in, but it gets absolutely annihilated. He doesn't have the support to keep him up, and Sekana falls as well. Paradox is in a precarious spot, and the Quails, they didn't even get a tick on any points. They didn't flip a point in their favor. Absolutely annihilated by the Roosters on this first map.
Yeah, the only annihilation Skyster was seeing there was his health bar as KC Dunn just melts him down. I don't believe EJ had the window, but it looked like just a severe amount of damage put in that annihilation form instantly. We're going to see Wind with the play of the game, but we're just seeing really no response. Right? Okay, so it was a window. I was wondering how Skyster died so quickly. So EJ put down a perfectly placed window. Shout out again to the support line, but we're seeing just the Juno's utility with the speed ring, with the amount of healing she can put out, just paying dividends for the Roosters in this Ram mirror, and we'll see if we have an invitation for the Quails. I know that, we got Coach Neptune on their side now, but you're seeing a bit of the awkwardness of getting a player and really having no time to practice on full display.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess we'll have to figure out what adaptations the Quails really want to make for this next map in the final week of Aurora Esports. Obviously, big stakes on the line here for both teams. But we'll figure all that out after this short break. We'll see you guys in a bit.
These beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it.
And welcome back, everybody, to Aurora Esports Week 11, the Roosters versus the Quails. And right now, after that first map, I don't want to call it too early, but it's looking like the Roosters had a bit of an upper hand here on Antarctic Peninsula. So we'll have to see if the Quails' choice of Watchpoint Gibraltar will turn things around.
I mean, we've seen throughout the season this Roosters roster is impeccable on Brawl, especially with Pneumonia on the signature May, Wind showing up big on basically every single Brawl tank we've seen. Ramatra, Arisa, Reinhardt looking really good on all those picks. And but going over onto Watchpoint Gibraltar, we probably will not be seeing a form of a Brawl. This is kind of the Quails' bread and butter right now, being a dive look. But you gotta wonder, is the new player in Neptune going to be able to follow up on these dives as effectively as Elko did? So I assume you got to look forward to, but actually we're going to see him on the Widowmaker to start off, probably doing the scouting on the attack. But when we try to see, Tracer look out from Neptune here, but you got to wonder, did the comms kind of take a baiting there in their first match? Because, we saw a bit of disconfiguration between the Quails when they used just a coordinated unit.
Yeah, and it might just be the new player. It might just be some growing pains, but it's week 12 right now. You need to figure out these growing pains, and soon. It seems like it's an immediate comp swap from them. I love to see, I guess, this decision making. I'm not sure if it's going to be on Skycer, Kray's side, or Neptune's side, but they're so willing to switch things up if they realize it's not going to work. Before, you take 3 fights, you lose those 3 fights, and it is working completely for them. Wind already demeched in this fight early. Skycer's able to keep so much presence, and I think just the fear of Neptune shooting down at the sites really backed the rest of the side of the Quails, or the Roosters, back towards spawn.
I'll lose out on Skycer's mech, though, so the fight's not just over yet. Underneath the overpass, as Allegro just staying there menacingly, his pure aura keeping them back as Wind has the mech back ready to go. So high ground control will probably go back in favor of the Roosters right now. And we saw the adaptation from last map. We're going to have Neptune just play Widowmaker and just shoot heads. You don't need to follow up anything with that one. You just need pure mechanics to take you through. But we haven't seen the Widow pay too much dividends just yet. Cart's still stuck around the underpass here, and no ult's ready to go. Skycer still has no mech here. 20% away from that one, so Time Bank is just winning away around 2.5 minutes probably for his next fight really breaks out.
And the difficult thing for Win, though, is he can't really engage on Neptune because KC and Allegro aren't really on characters to follow up with that. So Neptune's sort of left uncontested on these angles. Meanwhile, the Roosters are just doing what they do best. They're kind of playing a brawl. Look at how they're set up underneath this point. They are not letting this rotation even phase them for a moment. They are forcing the weird, awkward angles for Neptune to take, and it's paying off dividends with Cray already following early. It feels like, I don't know, they're just giving up this, like, defensive position underneath, and they should be able to win it out, but because Neptune's on the Widow, he can't play as aggressive in this area.
He's going to go swap right now. He's walking back to spawn very slowly, and that's a great adaptation from the Roosters, though. They see the Widowmaker play and just say, hey, you want to know how it's hard to shoot through walls? You might be able to see through them with your ult mode. You cannot shoot through anyway. But a big anti that lands on two members as they made a touch. We do have Neptune finally returning to this point with Cry on a bit of a pincer maneuver here on the back line, trying to do something, but the speed ring out for the engage on the win goes over towards his cart. Allegro close to an ult here. This is still a very doable fight for either side. Nano Boost thrown on to Skyster, goes in on the back line, but the Overwatch from Quantico keeps him alive. EJ does fall pretty low though. Skyster finally getting the kill. So first kill goes the way of the Quails in this engage right now, but Allegro has the ult. Should decide to invest it here. High Noon comes out from Casey Dunn, tried zoning him on back to take some damage onto Skyster's mech. Force out that bomb here early, so kind of flying low, force retreat for now. Allegro had to do the Wraith there to stay alive, but the anti comes out from Saikana, locks it on. Finally, with Wind losing out on that mech, though, it'll probably be the fight here, but Craig downs to that one. It's not done just yet here, War. We're still going back and forth.
Still going back and forth, and the rally invested on top. Both rallies, actually. Look at that equalized stun. The only issue is Neptune shooting in EJ's face, and Paradox kept right alive, right healthy, and the brawl coming straight to the Roosters in this fight. Tukipook sent away, and Wind left on the high ground, left to fend for himself, and the mid diamond, or maybe GM Tank, is not able to do it alone.
Now, aside the low diamond 30-50 on the sheet, get it right through. But now going forward, the next team fight here, you didn't use too many uplifts there. You just had to use the nano, open things up in the rally to finish it off. You're going to have both DPS ready to go. Skies are close to a bomb, and also you get priority on the spaceship here. A huge defensive position now taken away by Neptune on the high ground. Look at me dropping behind with the Reaper ultimate. Goes in right for big sleep! Stops the DF from taking that one down, and most supports are already taken down from this fight. Roosters pushed back to spawn. Quails coming alive on dive.
And I can almost like hear Neptune in these moments calling for that nade from Seikuna to come in, and they've just been on point all game. It feels like Wins on like repeat, like naded every single fight. And for the second point, that might just be enough. Look at how slow Wind is gonna be getting back. They have to invest the speed ring to even get them towards the point. And right now you're facing off against Skyster. Only a moment left on the cart as the fight breaks out. Allegro goes in with the ultimate, but completely eaten alive by Skyster and the rest of the Quails, putting in so much work. Casey Dunn tries to save the moment with his ultimate, but this might already be a lost fight if you're the Roosters here. The Quails annihilating you, and to make matters worse, Tukipook tried to get out and just get slapped.
I mean, the issue that we saw there especially was the priority of who's going to touch the cart. They throw Wind down there, but what that does is it allows the Reaper Death Blossom to go high up on the high ground and just kill somebody right away. The Pulse Bomb as well, anti-land, so just a bit of miscommunication there, having to force the D.Va to use the touch. No defense measure for supports on the high ground. Take him out early. Now we're going to Paradox close to her rally here. And really no ultimates for the Roosters on this defense whatsoever. Wind swaps to the Zarya to try to counter this D.Va pick, but Skyster probably will see that and swap back to the Winston after this bomb comes through. But Neptune takes their opening pick on the Casey Dunn and now claims high ground for himself. And now the Quills continue to push forward. Both DPS down. Another one for Neptune falls. And there's push forward. We're going to see a speed run here, War.
Yeah, the first point looks a little bit slow, but the second and third, the Quails are taking it with dominant fashion. Neptune's not afraid to do one thing, and that's mark other people on his corresponding DPS. He's not afraid to stand up and say, I am better on this role. And now it's just a final fight. Can he do enough in these final moments? The rally used in, but Casey Dunn, okay, finds the kill onto Neptune, immediately stifled into spawn here. EJ and Wind trying to fight towards the point, but not really long for this world. A bomb's going to be invested, maybe a chance for a C9 on the point, but Wind jukes right back on. Is still healed up by Tukipook, still has the angles benefiting, but Cray with a crazy pulse bomb. I got to see that one back on replay onto Casey Dunn. That may spell disaster for the Quails, for their whole team, as it's just clean up. Allegro on the point for stall. Will he be able to get away with anything else? No, he won't. And the Quails are going to be able to pick up a around 2-minute time bank on Gibraltar.
Yeah, the Roosters kind of really struggling in this adaptation that we're seeing from the Quails right now with this Reaper. And then on point C, you know, Neptune makes the swap over onto Widowmaker, catches KC Dunn off guard, and takes the Widow out of the fight. And with that Widow gone, those sites are completely free for him to take advantage of, and they get those quick 4 kills out of the fight and get right to the end of C. But the bomb there from Skycer is actually huge, because what it does is it forces a lot of players to play around walls to try to avoid the instant death. But what that does, it allows Cry to go in with this Tracer and the follow-up from Neptune to get those kills onto the Tracer and onto, I believe, own support, who was stuck without the help from Wind, couldn't get the DM there to keep the team alive. So a great play there from the Quails. We're seeing their dive is still as strong as ever with the replacement of Elko for Neptune, and now we're going to see some annotations right now from the side of the Roosters. You know, Allegro on the Reaper is looking good, beginning with the underpass play, but since then, really slowed down, and Neptune just kind of take it to him. Neptune can start on the Reaper here, not opting in for a Widowmaker on the defense to begin with, maybe going for a bit of an underpass play themselves, but we also kind of saw the difference there. We had EJ. I believe EJ is playing a lot of the Brig, and then as well as the Kiriko in the last point, but we saw the Baptiste healing missing from point A, or from the first map we saw when paired with the Juno. So, yeah, like with the Reaper, they'll capitalize his kills a lot faster and kind of push their advantage on the mechanics, you could say, but not going forward. Casey Dunn is going to play the Widowmaker on attack first. You're looking for an early pick, probably going to swap here after a jump shot, but right now, Quails in a good spot to take us to a tied series.
Yeah, and all the Quails really need to do, like, it's the one thing in Overwatch that always matters is going to be that time bank. How long can you keep the contest on point? And that's the entire goal of this composition that they're running right now. They're trying to drain the time bank off of payload, similar to how the Roosters did on the first point. Granted, they haven't made the rotation down to this low ground, and they're kind of letting the point go uncontested right now. This underpass is going to be a very big spot, and it feels like the resources of the Quails are a bit misplaced. They aren't unified in their push, allowing Wind to create a lot of space for the Roosters on defensive side, and they're just not able to isolate targets. Allegro gets forced out, forced to sort of recall his way back to the back line of the team. Cart's already been pushed, and the fight hasn't even happened, though. So is it, like, too little, too late?
I definitely don't think so. It's like the position here right now from the Quails, using the ability of the high ground to take down EJ to start off things. They do exchange up for Neptune, but you definitely take the Brig for Reaper here, but with Allegro just walking forward, you're almost a Death Blossom ready to go. Recall forced out of Cry here in the Sol server room. Stickerbook will find the kill over on towards the Diva, so no defense matrix ready to go here for the side of the Quails. Allegro going up on the high ground, but looking for a drop, and Death Blossom here on the Ana. Slap, sleep, not gonna land it from Silicana. Neptune on the return, finding 2, but it might be a little bit too late here, as Casey Dunn is just dropping onto Card, trying to find a headshot, but Tracer has turned the fray, so it's a 3-on-3. Casey Dunn can't quite land the shot over on towards the Tracer. Silicana coming back with an ambush here very shortly here. Does Allegro return with a Death Blossom to Stickerbook and Bestie over to Ray. They're not there, they're running back from spawn. So Alphonse four on the side of the Roosters are not present for this fight, and now Silicana returning with a sleep over on towards the point. Cry to the pulse, but looking for the DM to go down. Silicana with a nano, puts it instantly over on towards Skyster. Diva goes deep in the back on here, forced out this Juno and the Brigitte. The Widowmaker side is complete, taken out by this one Diva here. Anti-lanes over on towards Wind, sees the bomb, but Skyster has one in response, finds Cray though, so down the Tracer, still a very chaotic fight on point, 1.92 meters. Riley out from Paradox, EJ 1% away from that its own. Allegro with Death Balls and trying to turn away, but the DM from Skyster shots that down, but the boop from EJ, and Wind will finally get them off the cart. The C9 is forced, and point A is taken.
And granted, that fight was extraordinarily scrappy on both sides. It's actually still going to be going on in some parts of the map. You can see Neptune making the swap over onto the Widow to try and mark Casey Dunn. But on the defensive side, you can't necessarily be as aggressive with your Widowmaker angles. You have to play more around your team. You have to play more for the cart. And now with Casey Dunn and the sights up for the side of the Roosters, you put yourself in a very precarious spot. If you're Neptune, you don't know where your enemies are on all sides, and the point is just like I said at the start, the point's going to be what matters on these maps. The Roosters are doing such a good job of controlling this point like a brawl, keeping Tukipook and EJ stabilized there and gaining so much cart progress.
Yeah, they find Paradox as well, so down to Brigade, a lot of healing. Now both sports gone, and like we said, point A, I kind of like their idea to take the high ground control and fight for later in the point, but this one kind of almost unforgivable. Just giving them entirety of point B for free there. The Quails kind of staggering themselves out there. Not getting spaceship control for the defense is a huge deterring factor. for just such a quick time bank. And now, I said when we really started on this defense that they were in a good position to really take this map home, but now you look at 4.5 minutes in time bank and wholesale swaps coming through from the Quails. Skystar on the Junker Queen, Neptune onto the Genji, Cry off Tracer over on the Soja, so playing for way more poke, way more kind of just survivability, trying to drain this time bank out, but you're walking into a lot of ultimates here, especially over to Ray, a fight-winning ultimate. It's looking really good right now for the Roosters. This adaptation has looked really good for him so far.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an Overwatch tournament if we didn't see excessive counter swapping on both sides. A bomb going to be sent in, and that's going to be very well placed. Oh, how does that find two? You can see Paradox try to get the shield off there, but it just didn't do enough. They were just out of position, and Wynn's placement of that bomb is going to force a final fight for the side of the the Quails if they can even get one.
Yeah, Neptune swaps over the Widowmaker, trying to get a kill on towards point for any recontesters. Skyster walking over. Allegro does force use his rape very early, but has the Blossom finds the support. Secondom finds both supports, actually. Neptune does find the kill, but it's a little too late here, my friend, as there's an Orbital Ray on point. Keenan nice and healthy. I mean, Neptune with the second one's going to look for the stat sheet, but not going to look good for a chance of winning, and an even faster time bank there. It's kind of what happens when you give the entire point for free every single time on the Quails. I tried to give him some, some leeway on point A, but point B and point C, you just can't do that because it allows Casey Dunn to control these tight lanes, and Wynn's bomb finding two, win that fight with just a Diva bomb is massive. I don't know how it got around. There's so many corners you can play on Gibraltar C, but just must have been perfectly placed to go through some doors.
For sure, and I don't know. You can just feel how confident the Roosters are. Like, with their playstyle, they're not afraid of going aggressive. They're not afraid to throw in their ultimate first and say, this will hit. You know, I'm calling my mark right now, this is going to hit. And it forces the side of the Quails to just play so differently. It forces them to, I guess, put themselves in a very awkward compositions that they aren't experienced running. They definitely aren't experienced running him with Neptune. He's just new to this team right now, and it's really going to be a test of can the Quails really adapt and overcome the compositions that they're running against. They're going to try Seikana out on the Juno, maybe try to go a bit faster, but going into a Cassidy with that stun grenade, going into a Reaper, it's going to be so hard for them to force this point under the underpass.
Yeah, they're going to play right in the spawn here. Just try to drain these 1.5 minutes left out of this time bank as much as they possibly can before any meters is gained. As Wynn playing on Slogan right now, privy to the anti-nades this time, but Saikana opting into the Juno rather than the Ani here on their attack. Allegro flying low, forces Ray pretty early here, so I might try to take advantage of that one, but Allegro 5 finds Cry, had recall ready to go, didn't use it, and now down your Tracer. So a lot of space now gone, a lot of background pressure taken away. We do get the response on a case down from Neptune, so still a 1-for-1 exchange. But again, this underpass defense with the Reaper looks to bring some dividends as Allegro gets flashed and tries to stay alive.
Yeah, Neptune very close to his ultimate here. Going to be the first one to have it, but not in the position where he can exactly pop that in the fight. Overall, this is a fairly even fight, though. It's going to be decided by the fact that Wind is out of mech right now and eventually going to get taken out. KC Dunn finally gets back from the spawn and immediately punched to death by Sky, so that 3K looking very nice and a bit of an ult advantage for the Quails here. If they can manage to get this first point, BOON1E, they can set themselves up very good to win this map. It's just a question of what are the Roosters looking at for the touch. I think it's going to be that orbital ray, getting that outline quick and trying to win that fight.
Yeah, but two great zoning tools here. The high noon with the bomb ready to go. Neptune pops it as the fight really begins, trying to force on the cooldown. Does just that. Does he find Allegro here on the side? He does! With the speed boost through the high noon, taking down the Reaper's a huge exchange. Now EJ flying low, Neptune running on in, 3 quick kills, and only win that one for a high noon is a great exchange, especially if they kind of can build up towards this orbital ray for next fight. We're going to be able to have kind of conflicting orbital rays, and we're going to have a bomb advance for Skycer early. You got to take high control right now after Skycer, though. Goes up there. They're going to have a lot of ults ready to go. The Quails setting themselves up for a decent push here on towards point B, but it all comes down. Kentucky Book finds some value with the orbital ray, keep team alive, throws pressure.
Yeah, battle of bombs, battle of orbital rays on either side. The Quails are actually going to opt for the positioning advantage instead, keeping 1 on the cart, maybe 2 on the cart here for moments, and setting up for better positions, and eventually they're going to be able to kite back down to this cart, force out some Rooster cooldowns, but the only things that are coming out right now are going to be the orbital rays. KC Dunn going to drop the high noon as well. Will it be able to push through Skycer's DM? I don't know if it will. an explosion of ultimates, an explosion of deaths in the feed, and it's all gonna go in favor of the Roosters as a C9 kind of happens at the end there.
And the Roosters just having a huge ult advantage there. Casey Dunn with a perfectly placed timing, forces out Skace's cooldowns, forces out his boosters, forces out his DM, and then off the back of that one, the team just pushes forward with the help of the Overwatch Array and takes down the remaining members of the Quails. But still pretty decent push there for the Quails. Under 2 minutes, they'll get about 1.5 points through Gibraltar. Not too shabby, and now you can play for the drain time bank on point A. You know, we usually see Gibraltar is actually a very defense-favored map, especially on point A. With the high ground, both these teams kind of opting into not using the blue box control early. I want to see if the Quails decide, in fact, to play and switch up the strategies here and play more for the high ground. But with Neptune on the May, I don't see that happening. Probably playing more again for this brawl in the underpass. And I mean, we've seen both teams just get kind of ramrodded out of that position quickly with one ultimate or one pick. And honestly, I still like the ability to hold high ground here with my D.Va, able to bounce up and down on that cart. But going with the Neptune way here, just again trying to see if something can work here on the underpass. But if Casey then finds a pick, point A might go away, and the huge time back advantage for the Roosters will come to fruition.
I kind of like the May as an adaptation here because it felt like on, I guess, the defense of the Quails, they weren't able to hold underpass like they thought they should. So maybe the addition of the May wall, the survivability that May has, can assist in this situation. We got to be very careful here. Casey Dunn immediately pops out, looks for a pick. Probably not going to be able to find anything. I think some respect has been given here on this fight. You can see the advantage of this May wall here to sort of just create space, create value. They immediately tuck it underneath the underpass, putting themselves in a favorable position that they can just contest cart from.
I mean, if you're expecting a Reaper still from Allegro, why are you playing this underpass ability? Because, I mean, yeah, sure, Neptune has a wall, but Allegro just loves these little tight positions here, these little small corridors that you can just shoot a shotgun through and do massive amounts of damage. A nice wall, though, from Neptune will isolate over towards Wind as Windfall. On the neck here, Wind gets out just in time, and still, the Quails begin their hold here in the underpass. But I think it's still just one pick away from Casey and Allegro, and this map flips wide open. We'll see what happens here. Next engage is speedring for the contest here for the Roosters, trying to go in by another wall from Neptune.
Yeah, and it feels like the Roosters are trying to force it down the choke, force into the May wall, when in reality they kind of have to bait out this utility. As you can see, Casey Dunn and EJ both falling in the fight, allowing Neptune and Skyster to sort of push the aggression. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a composition swap, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't know, it feels like the Neptune classic of, like, force people to respect your comp, like, force the composition down their throat until they either swap to counter it or swap to it. And Neptune feeling so confident on this May, dropping in the Blizzard, a big freeze comes in, that's gonna get 2-3 players completely dismantled outside of the fight. And Saggers, maybe even able to come in too. No, actually, Cray goes down in exchange. Wind invests the bomb.
Ooh.
I don't know if that was the correct move there. Maybe he's just gonna swap, I'm not sure, but...
No, the bomb is actually pretty good because it just, if you kill somebody, your spawns are so close, you have this huge advantage. Now look at this, Wind's already back to fray, now it's a 4-on-3, and it's underpass here. Neptune is still up, but they're running back as fast as they can. The Quails are reinforcements. If they can get one more kill here, could be huge, but Neptune's wall will be just enough to keep him alive. And now Saikana opting in to use their Overwatch Array. EJ down again here. EJ is the first pick, the priority target for the Quails. It's looking out so good for them right now. Wind's gonna lose it on the mech here to stagger over onto the Roosters tank. And I need to see a team take high ground here, because what we're seeing is they're just running, they're, facing to a wall of Neptune, and their defense positioning inside the Mega Room is just so huge, so impactful. I need somebody to go up on the high ground, get another angle on this team, because right now, what you're doing right now is not working. You've lost 4 minutes in your time bank, basically. Last fight territory, and now you're making wholesale swaps on the Ramatra. It's looking like desperation mode for the Roosters.
Yeah, but I think the Ramatra can pose a lot stronger of a fight. You got multiple ults on both sides here, able to be popped. DPS ults gonna go in. Neptune and Allegro both popping the Blizzard, as well as the wall out from Casey Dunn. And Wind's gonna be the first to find the pick with Ramatra. You allow the stability, but is Craig gonna be able to survive throughout all this damage? Yes, he will. Gets the trade onto Allegro. Casey Dunn finds the kill. The Roosters are managing to pick up kills when it matters the most, but at this point in time, The time bank, it's drained away, BOON1E. You still need to win another 2 fights if you want to push yourself to victory on map 2.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are the side of the Quails, you probably just go in for a last-second contest to try to get another ultimate, but they don't know the Roosters have nothing online. If they can get Tookie Poke to use and invest it over to Ray, it'd be huge for a chance of taking this map. But Cry has Blaze Skyster with a bomb. Maybe they think it's winnable here. Skyster going in aggressively, but caught on turret, so slow down, but Paradox down early. So really good aggression here from Wind. Decides to opt in to use Annihilations. The blade from Cry fighting 2 could be doable here. Cry with a third! Trying to bring it back for the team, and now it's just Wind on point with the Nemesis form, but getting melted down. Skyster has the bomb to break through this one. Here comes the bomb over to Ray out from Sakana. And the fireworks in the sky with the bomb. The Quails take this map despite a huge time back advantage for the Roosters.
And honestly, BOON1E, chills after that map. It felt like both IGLs were just firing for their teams, coming up with different strategies, and really just finding their rhythm, their footing on Gibraltar. It ends up that the Quails managed to take it, but if that is any indication of, I guess, the adaptation that we can see from the Quails and then the counter adaptation from the Roosters, I feel like we're going to have a series on our hands. After map 1, it looked like a one-sided affair, but I'm here to say that the Quails are here to fight.
Yeah, the Quails are here to fight, and like you said, this is just a back-and-forth mismatch on brain power right now. We're seeing mechanics being thrown aside. It is just who can adapt to who better, and we'll see what the Roosters decide to adapt to with the Quails for the map pick after a short break. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Overwatch Clash will continue after this.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Aurora Esports Clash, Week 11, the final week of the regular season, and the week where things are heating up for both these teams. The Roosters versus the Quails is proving to be just as much of a banger as we expected it to be. And a couple of announcements from the, administration side. First off, we got Rue in for Cray. This is the style that the Quails like to run, sort of Rue on the brawl maps, Cray on the dive maps. And secondly, unfortunately, Casey Dunn had to leave, so the Roosters are going to be looking at this Allegro Pneumonia DPS comp for the rest of today.
And that is a huge, shift in power dynamics of this entire series, because you don't have Casey Dunn to keep an eye on Neptune anymore. So now this new addition for the Quails can get even stronger. I mean, we saw last map especially on their defense in the overtime looking really good. But with Casey Dunn gone, if you're a Sea Dragons player / fan, you are not happy seeing that, because the Roosters need to win for you to stay up into the power rankings and standings. And now the Roosters come on the back foot, but Pneumonia comes in for the Maid to take on Ruin Lapunas, and still very back and forth on the point right now, but cooldown gets changed. No picks for either side. Wind goes in aggressively with the speed ring, and Paradox down early. Good start for the Roosters.
Yeah, you gotta remember, even down Casey Dunn, they still have their leader in Wind, able to push the aggression onto the Quails. You saw how good their brawl looked on Antarctic Peninsula, and I think this is why they chose Saravasa. They're able to go a very similar approach, put Pneumonia on the May to sort of mark Rue, and you can see how quickly he's building up these blizzards. This might be available in the upcoming fight.
Yeah, could be going forward here. Pneumonia just trying to poke and prod through this little choke angle here. They all come through by a nice wall. Will isolate Wind, but he's able to hold on Nemesis form for the engage for the team to come through. So a good, steady hand on that L-ship key. But here comes the blizzard from Pneumonia, taking down Rue's a good start. And now skies are falling low on the side as well. And that's going to be the Roosters probably taking this first point. They get these staggers out especially. I mean, Neptune trying to kill himself by rolling in and just flash fanning everybody to let them know, hey, I'm here, please shoot me. But they don't oblige, and that's going to be point one going the way of the Roosters.
Yeah, and only one ultimate to get that first point. You're not even at an ult disadvantage, in my opinion, if you're the Roosters right now. You have the Quails banking that they knew the right side of the map, but then ends up, yeah, I love that play though. Like, you think, oh yeah, surely it's gonna go this side. Oh, nope, the other way around. So they're gonna be coming in with a bit of a point disadvantage too, moving into this next point, but we'll see if that risk is gonna pay off or not.
Psychana with a really early speed ring here. Could come back to bite them here in this fight, but they do have Overwatch to keep T-Minus alive. Allegro with the high noon over on towards the side. The block from Rue is used. High noon in response from Neptune. Both teams, but it's fact going to be Allegro the one to find a kill. Skycer using this Annihilation, trying to bring back for the squad, but down so many members that do force out the ride from EJ. Point hasn't flipped for either side just yet, but the Roosters in the proverbial catbird seat right now, taking this fight and once again taking this point early and building that percentage of Pneumonia 20% to another blizzard already. A very good look right now. Neptune swaps out the casting onto the far of all things, but Allegro's clicking heads could spell disaster.
Yeah, I think it's a very dangerous swap. Usually Neptune wants to pull these out when, I guess, you guys are off the hit scan, similar to the way we saw on Gibraltar, but you still have to deal with Allegro here and Pneumonia, who can kind of hit people out of the sky. So now we're gonna see a fight, two ultimates versus two ultimates. Orbital Ray and the blizzard from Pneumonia and Rue both popped at the exact same time. Wins in a very precarious spot, potentially kept up by Tukipook's Orbital Ray that allows him to stay in the fight. Now Paradox gonna invest their ultimate in. It's gonna be a bit late though, and I believe they're gonna get punished for that on the point. Not gonna be able to find much value. And unfortunately, Shutdown taken out. They got EJ for their troubles, but they will not be taking this point home.
Yeah, and that will be point two here in Saravasa going the way of the Roosters. And we just saw the Venn diagram of Mayblizzards working out especially good for the Roosters, especially since Tukipook had the Overwatch advantage. It kept Wind alive. Wind was stuck right in the center, playing for both teams on the Venn diagram. But, I mean, just the Orbital Ray healing was just so instrumental, keeping their mantra alive, allowing Wind to respond. And we're seeing this Pharah it's just not doing too much. We saw it go in the back line, put some pressure down on the EJ, but EJ just booped it away, and the team was none the wiser. Did not know the Pharah was even in play that fight. And now we do finally have the Quails on the point first here. So we'll see if that kind of plays an advantage here. Really wide rotation right now from the Roosters going back towards their spawn. Maybe opting to give first point, flip over, and playing for the recontest.
Yeah, and if you're the Roosters, you're totally cool with this. You need to take a rotation that denies the spam from, I guess, the entirety of the Quails, because that's what they're trying to play for. You want to play inside, but the Quails are just going to take the damage straight to them, explode EJ off of a nice wall from Rue. Wind and Allegro are going to follow up in suit, falling down, and Pneumonia lucky to escape with his life as he manages to get away. The Quails do strike first on this point, but they have a long road ahead of them if they want to end up victors on Suravasa.
And opting in that long rotation really came back to bite them because they had to use their cooldowns to really engage on this Quails positioning, whereas the Quails could use theirs for aggressive purposes. Rue with the wall. I was saying Wind and Pneumonia, but yeah, here comes the barrage. The back line, Allegro knows nothing better of it. They're going 1-for-1, but you gotta probably like the advantage here. The Wind falling low in the front line, has to use the block to stay alive. The last pass came, but Paradox might have overstepped around the wall here for Pneumonia. And now Wind opting to use in this annihilation here. Skystar falling low. Skystar has one of his own, pops it immediately, trying to stay alive, but Pneumonia's on the flank angle, putting in some work. But Pneumonia isolated with the wall. Isolated Skystar with annihilation into a small room with him. Not the best maneuver there from the May. And the point is still in favor of the Quails right now. Allegro trying to come back and help the team, but Wind is still in with the Nemesis form. Skystar flying low. Skystar trying to stay alive. Stay kind of pumping him full of healing. But the Roosters still doing this, still trying to bring it back here. Nice slow on the back. Nice nano swarm. And this might be a clutch play right now from the Roosters. Never say die. As they isolate Paradox and Pneumonia once again with a huge wall. Flips that fight for his team.
And now we are entering very dangerous waters. Holding on to the point here, especially on, I guess, this point of Suravasa is just so powerful. It's such a hard defense to kind of break. Look at how close up the Roosters are opting to hold. They're forcing the Quails to really use their cooldowns, use their abilities to break through this space and eventually get towards the point. Neptune most notably over onto the Ash here. And a Blizzard's going to be invested here from Rue to try and just catch out players on the point. It is going to pan out in their favor. Lego tries to pop the Deadeye to save things away, but not going to be able to find anything. Shot from the sky. And even though it was a valiant fight from the side of the Roosters, they will not be picking up this third point. The Quails showing that they still have a little bit of fight left in them.
And you get the Orbital Ray out. That's a huge advantage for you going in the next point. You're going to have your almost Icona having theirs ready to pop. And Skystar close to annihilation here. Wind will have it online. So potentially a slow play from the Roosters, or from the Quails, trying to build up that annihilation here going in the next point. Pneumonia will have the Blizzard, which could be a huge deciding factor, but Neptune did force out his block very early, and that allowed Skystar to walk on the May and take him out of the fight. Taking that Blizzard out of the way. If the Blizzard was available, I could definitely see the Roosters taking that. But an early push out here with the Orbital Ray from Saikana and the Quails. I said Pneumonia! He doesn't quite Ajax, but he's not going to be there to follow up the damage.
Yeah, but Allegro is there to follow up a bit of damage, trades out Skystar, and having a tank in this fight is going to be so much more valuable. You see Wind proving it right there with the Nemesis form, leaving only Saikana alive, but not long for this world. I like the idea. You want to take those cheeky fights if you are the Roosters. You are down on ults, you're down on, I guess, advantage, but it didn't really pan out for them in that situation. I think they got a little bit too greedy.
I like the idea. They got too greedy trying to kill Pneumonia. That's the only thing they got greedy on. They stayed in his Blizzard range for far too long, trying to get the kill on the May. They eventually did succeed, taking May out of the way, but they all got frozen up. And like you said, Allegro was there to clean up the damage, clean up the kills on the Ash. So now you're looking at the ult advantage. Wind will have the annihilation for both sides. Neptune with the Bob. Still very back and forth here with EJ having the rally, so it's on the opening pick, but the Bob will open things up in the backline. Force the Bob off the map! Not a good start!
That's not what you want to see. And kills the exchange evenly. An exchange of annihilations as well, but Wind is maybe a bit better here. Actually, no. Skystar absorbs the entirety of the backline, takes out 3 with the help of Rue, and Wind left on the point with what he thought could have been a winnable fight when he popped his annihilation, but did not realize that Skystar had one in him as well.
And yeah, despite a disastrous start to that fight, with Bob going off the one part of the map that has his rails broken right now, literally the only part of this side of the map with the rails broken. He just runs right through it to his death, but now you look at it, Tukipuk will have the only ult ready to go for the Roosters for the Orbital Ray, but you have to hold on to it here potentially and play for a 0.5, because right now you have a slight advantage. You probably can get one more fight if you go quickly here, which is what the Roosters are doing, playing this very quickly. Wind pushing up towards his point. but Root has a Blizzard ready to go Psychona Pride and mid-fight over to Ray. You got like a chance for the Quails here, potentially a reverse sweep on Servasa, should things hold. Good start for Tukapuk going down early as well.
Yeah, and Neptune's angle just so oppressive. The Blizzard's gonna come in too. That's not just gonna catch one, that's gonna catch two. And leaving Pneumonia on his lonesome by himself. And it's gonna be a stagger. He's trying to get off the map. He's trying to get something for his trouble, but not able to find anything. And at this point, Wynn's looking for this next point. Neptune's pushed up dangerously far here and forces actually the orbital ray to come out.
The Ramacha's running to point, guys. The Ramacha's running towards point.
Wait.
This is
I didn't even notice. How did Wynn get back there?
And they kill Psychona! But Wynn down, they will be the point going. But honestly, if you're the Roosters, this is a great fight because you get up both Order and Rally for a point you basically already lost. And that's because Wind was completely lost on his own trying to find the next point, but ran to point, forced out that Rally, forced out the Orbital Ray, and now the Roosters in a great position to take point 5 here. Is down to Neptune potentially find an opening pick, but the DPS ultimate's ready to go for the Roosters. Is looking really strong from right now in the next point. And final point of Palace.
Yeah. And previously, points have been decided who has that first control. You see the Roosters, they're set up on high ground. They have the ultimates they can give. Like, I think the only thing that you can do right now is you need to survive these onslaught of ultimates. And it's going to be so hard. A nice wall comes in, but the Bob is still grabbing value here. It's still managing to take some space. And even after that Bob from Allegro, you still have a couple more ultimates you can really throw into this. Wynn's very close to this annihilation as well, and Neptune Pneumonia actually setting up for a very cheeky blizzard underneath. But Neptune gets the first pick though. A blizzard to the high ground. It's not gonna catch anything, and Wynn feels the need to invest the annihilation. You have to in this situation, facing off against the Bob from Neptune, but that's gonna clean up on point.
Oh, that's really bad right there for the Roosters, because now Pneumonia's also getting staggered. Wynn swaps over onto the Risa for desperation touches, but you invest so many almost into a lost fight there. Neptune finding their opening kill on Allegro. I want to point out that first fight where just they use the Bob and Skyser just survives. That's the best you could possibly do. And then rotate to the high ground. And they just force out opens on Skyser has an annihilation of his own. They're going to go aggressively here, try to get opening kill on EG. EG falling low. Losing the Brigitte's huge here. Allegro tries to slide him, but slides right into annihilation. Skyser going aggressively into the backline here. And now you're going to have Blizzard going to have Orbital Ray. This map is completely flipped on its head here, War.
Yeah, and if there's one thing that Neptune has taught me on maps like this, don't be afraid to push the aggression. That's exactly what they're doing. They're taking pop shots at the spawn doors right now, sending it to the last fight for the Roosters. Granted, for a winnable fight, you got the Orbital Ray, you got the Rally, but it's all about how you invested. They're going to try to go for a rotation, but the Quails, they read it to perfection. There's no advantage found, and the Orbital Ray is exchanged at the exact same time. Tanks jumping in onto the back line, even trades going out just far, but Rue's gonna try to turn away the fight with the Blizzard here. They're down one. They need to be able to hit it, but Wynn stays alive, helped by Tukapuk in this final fight, and they're gonna stabilize. The Roosters are gonna take over, but they need to hold on for a long time if they want to take this one home.
I want to see Rue use the Blizzard way more aggressively there. We saw it just isolate over on towards Wynn, but Wynn with just 1 HP gets unfrozen, spins his way to victory, and it's just a bit of hesitation coming from the Quails there. I like Skyser going deep and finding EG force that rally out, getting that kill, but right now, you use some ultimates you probably shouldn't have, and now you're coming back disadvantage. Last fight territory for either team to take this map, and now Pneumonia has the Blizzard. Allegro can follow up with the Overclock. Is just down. Can Paradox's Rally keep team alive long enough?
And they're actually going to initiate with a Rally that's going to help them push through the Blizzard. Even though Rue gets frozen up, he's going to be able to hang on to his left. Actually, no, Wynn's going to push the aggression. So an early opening for the Roosters in this fight. Allegro holding space towards the high ground. Neptune trying to gain it with the help of Psychona, but it's just them. Now just Neptune obliterated, sent back to spawn, sent home, and sent onto map 4 with the Roosters taking a 2-1 lead.
That's devastating if you are the Quails right there, because you had a really decent chance of taking that home, and just a bit of a hesitation there on that defense of the final point, paying dividends. And it's a very, I mean, just considering how we saw the Rainmere go in the first map, this is a very much closer series now, because if you think about the Quails still have the advantage in the dire from what we saw. And we're going in, if you can keep this kind of pressure on the brawl mirror going back and forth with the Roosters, you're in a good chance to potentially take home map 5. But We'll have to see where we go for map 4. It's a really important pick here for the Quails coming after this break. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Overwatch Clash will continue after this.
These beats are the purest.
And welcome back, everybody, to Aurora Esports Week 11, and having a brutal back and forth on that last map of Saravasa. The Roosters managed to kind of eke it out in the final moments, and that sets us to the Quails pick of Hollywood, a map that I think the Roosters are going to be kind of forced to play unconventionally here. They like to play the brawl on most maps, but Hollywood, a map that really favors that dive style or that poke style composition. I'm really interested to see what adaptations they want to make here, especially down Casey Dunn.
I mean, I was going to point out just how scared the Roosters actually are now in terms of my mind, because they're doing this to the number 2/3 in the standings, Quails, with Neptune added to the roster, down Casey Dunn, and they're still winning maps. They're still keeping the series very competitive, but I'm honestly just very happy. Last two maps, despite the first map, this has been the series we've wanted the entire season right now. It's a very back and forth battle of heavyweights, and this is kind of a preview for playoffs. I cannot be more excited going forward.
Yeah, and depending on which way this, I guess, bout kind of shows up, we could see this fight happening as soon as the second round or as late as the grand finals. So I think this has major repercussions, no matter who wins, no matter who loses, to, I guess, the final moments. But we get to see the matchup between Skycer on the Diva with that benefit of the speed ring versus Win trying to stabilize the team with the Zarya pick. They're trying to keep Pneumonia alive in the backline here, and Allegro's going to manage to get a pick, but Yukon Neptune with a quick trade towards the point. These fights are going to be so scrappy. It's an amalgamation of styles, and it looks like the Roosters are going to be able to win this one out first.
Tukipuk is definitely the MVP of that fight right there. Able to sustain Pneumonia long enough through the dive to force some more cooldowns and come back, get a kill onto Neptune on the dive, and then follow up on the final kill there on the Skyzer's mech. So a great look from Tukipuk on this Juno, kind of being his Century hero so far this season. And now we see the Reaper charge bubble technique of the Zarya paying dividends here, as the wall does land over on towards Win, but has able to get out alive here. But the cooldowns are strained right now for the Roosters, and to find the kill over on towards Win down that Zarya is going to be really tough for this defense to hold. And we saw just a bit of overaggression right there from the Zarya player, knowing they had a Mei, still playing beyond a choke point there. A bit of a costly error right there from Win for the Roosters.
Yeah, and you kind of talk about that Zarya Reaper composition. I feel like one that Wind has sort of like championed throughout the season. The goal with doing that is to send the Reaper in, get the charge, and then have the Zarya just be like this unkillable machine. The only issue is if you have the Diva, you're kind of able to go very fast along with the Genji and deal a lot of damage. And look at the counter swaps coming in. Immediate adaptation. Okay, that's not working. Let's go over onto the Winston. And then Neptune sees the Winston and is like, oh yeah, let's just make Wind suffer. Let's go on to the Reaper. So both these teams reading in extraordinarily well. It's all about how they're going to end up playing these fights.
Yeah, we'll see how exactly kind of works out here. Skyster has the bombs, so can play very aggressively here. Allegro trying to drop and try and build a 5% for Death Blossom, but falls to Neptune. Find the headshot, the hedge with the shotguns. And now Wind, a really awkward jump in the backline here. Maeve's trying to stay alive. A lot of ultimates being thrown out here. Both over rays are passing by. But right now, it's going to be a huge advantage right now for the side of the Quails, as you probably want to hold on to one of those at least. They do get EJ to have the big rally advantage here going forward. And now 4 ults for the Roosters on this recontest. We're going to be walking in a bomb. Neptune with 1 fight already has Death Blossom ready to go. Cry still with his blade. So still a very equal fight for both these teams here. Who can get the opening pick? Which Reaper or Death Blossom can be bigger? I'm looking at Neptune with no defense to make sure to shut this one down.
Yeah, Neptune definitely going to be looking for it in this fight. But Seiken
Kinda like
actually
that.
gets extraordinarily
Kinda like that.
split. Yeah, it doesn't matter though. Neptune just finds 2, the DPS obliterated.
Oh, EJ.
And that was the advantage they had in that fight. At least if you lose that fight, you can say, oh yeah, we did invest in ultimate. They invested, I guess, multiple in the fight before that and 1 in this fight. But you use the rally. Sure, maybe to swap over to the Kiriko, maybe to play one of these more heal-centric, like double flex support compositions, but it still puts you in a very precarious spot, and it feels like the Roosters just haven't found the solution they need yet.
I just gotta say though, before we start off, how good it feels to be right as a color caster. How it feels to think it's completely true like 2 seconds after you say it. But now going forward, Cry still has his blade, and with the swaps on the supports, and really nothing to stop this blade from giving value. Pneumonia uses slide in, but now Cry sets a sight over on the soldier, but Tikwa shuts that down with the torpedoes, and now Pneumonia able to stay alive through that blade, comes back with the overclock, but not too many shots being put out right now. Still a very back and forth affair right now. The bomb from Skyster will force them back, and finds EJ down to Soldier and down to Kiriko. It's really big, and now the Quails continue to move forward here. Find the picks, find the kills. The speed run continues through Hollywood.
Yeah, and this speed run, I mean, we talked about it on Watchpoint Gibraltar. It looked good, Boony, but it looks great here. It looks dangerous. 3-minute time bank and some. No contest to be seen, and no solution in the cards for the Roosters.
And then, just I pat myself on the back. The very next fight, my analysis goes completely out the window. As I said, the blade would be huge. Blade does nothing, but the follow-up, in fact, even better with the bomb, finding the EJ on Kiriko, of all things, with a Suzu, with a TP. I don't know how that happened. And 2 bubbles from Wind. How does anybody die to a Diva Bomb? I rest my case. But now going forward into the side of the Roosters attack, they have quite the mountain to climb here. Going, 3.5 minutes on Hollywood is massive. You're honestly just playing for a cap at this point. And we saw both teams once again opting into no high ground control on point B on the defense for the Roosters. And what that did, it just played into Neptune's hands, swapping over onto the Reaper, especially once Allegro goes on early there on point B, losing out on that Reaper pressure on the cart, and you're opting in to use your over to raid to counter out their own rather than holding on to it. EJ just throwing the rally to the wind, and we're just seeing kind of a bit of a confusion, you could say, on point B and C there from the side of the Roosters, especially. We're seeing finally the buttons kind of click here for the Quails for the new adaptation for Neptune. First map, they looked very discombobulated, just kind of running over the place, taking different fights 1v1s, not really playing as a team, but now maybe either Neptune or Skyster kind of just said, hey, other one, shut up. You know, listen to me here. And now they look like a completely different team, a completely new unit. And we're seeing kind of pay dividends here on the last couple of maps. But Pneumonia swapping over on to this Echo could prove devastating in the space of the Mei from Neptune.
Yeah, and Neptune definitely going to have a lot of trouble marking a Widow and a Echo with the Mei choice. Sort of enables Wind to get a lot of damage here, but Pneumonia goes so aggressive. I don't know what that, I guess, positioning sort of idea was there. I think they were trying to speed ring onto the backline, find a lot of presence, and open up some space maybe, but not going to be able to find anything, and already that's just like one kill enough to win an entire fight.
So also again, just not able to play the Echo. I saw that. I was watching his POV, sadly. He got stuck on the roof and kind of like slowly slid off, and allowed Skyster to just fly over and get that kill over on towards the Echo. But now going forward, playing very aggressively in this choke here is going to be the Quails, and I don't want to see him do that. I want them to see him play this corner, not allow Allegro to find these silence on the Ashe, and now the Mei walls kind of splitting the entire team right now. Pneumonia dashed on him, but gets out just in time with the deflect and the jumps, but still a lot of cooldowns being exchanged and no real progress gained here for the Roosters. They're just stuck in this choke right now. A nice wall will isolate multiple members, but the healing comes through with EJ on the Brigitte. So it kind of has it over to Ray, but also has 1 HP, staying alive for just a couple seconds here. Has it online. Both Junos have his ultimate ready to go, and now another wall in the choke will isolate over onto the supports, and EJ taken down. Tickbook 1 HP as well. They pay for it with Cry's life, but finding both supports and wins mech here. A great start from the Quails. Pneumonia trying to dash on through, try to get a kill over to Saikana, but Saikana, she's got the moves, trying to get the Genji off, and somehow this fight is just so chaotic right now, War. But if you're the Quails, you'll take this because the time is just dwindling away very slowly but surely.
And same with the ult bank. I mean, you get the bomb out from Wind there just for the chance of a rematch, just for a chance of like a bit quicker fight, but no kills found in that exchange. So if you're the Quails, you're not really losing out on anything here, other than Neptune, who just gets exploded inside of that orbital ray. A rally popped on top of it from both sides, try and keep Skyster alive in the fight. A bomb also invested as well, and that's going to catch Chukipook, so potentially a very winnable fight for Skyster if he can isolate targets, looking for the backline, looking for the squishy targets of the Roosters, but not able to find it just yet. A nice wall, though, may be able to punish Wind in the back line, but now with the mech gone for Skyster, you can't really contest the point. Allegro finds a kill, and it's just going to be icing on the cake. Pneumonia pops the blade, though. I don't know if you needed that. I don't know.
That, I hope it indicates a swap, because that blade is fairly egregious. You know, they don't have the mech here. They're already down a member, as one, I think it was Saikana got caught in the back line there. She couldn't get out. And yeah, they're sticking with this, so the blade kind of thrown to the wind there. They do get a pick, but the high ground control here for the Quails will still be on the table as they're looking to take a whole swell, they're taking actually a whole fight over on towards the cart. They're playing on the underpass here, playing to their advantage of the Neptune Mei. And Cry still has his blade, but Allegro with the bob will probably save off any real contestant. Wall comes on out, over to Ray, exchange here from Saikana. Bob in to try to take on the over to Ray, face on, but oh, headshot! Mid-flight on Saikana, but both supports are exchanged, so still a 4-on-4 war, ready to go.
Yeah, still a very even fight here. The heal advantage debatably in favor of Chukipook, but he's gonna get sliced down. But Pneumonia finds the trade onto Cray, proving that you don't need the ultimate to keep yourself alive. Multiple exchanges forced down towards the point, and now it's just Paradox and Neptune. They've sort of been a dynamic duo throughout this match, just trying to survive, trying to take the fight, and Neptune's gonna throw in the blizzard, did a nice rotation down towards point. Paradox gonna help jump on the targets there and explode EJ. And all this time, the point's not gone anywhere. Neptune's been looking impeccable with the 3K, almost 4. There it is, Paradox with the assist there in the final moments and setting them up very, very good on Hollywood.
Running in their spawn here and finding Chukipook's a great start here as well. Allegro falling low on the side, will get healed up, but does force out a couple cooldowns here. Potentially a bit of over-aggression right now from the side of the Quails. Looks like they will get out back through the cafe to safe and sound, but I mean, that's just a Neptune clutch there with the help of Paradox keeping alive, but Neptune only has the blade ready to go, gets bashed by the rally. The bomb out from Skyster will once again force more zoning here from the blade. Pneumonia's blade can't swing into any members of the Quails, and now Paradox coming back in here with the rally. Chukipook has the override to the side invested right now. Skyster, no bomb ready to go. Neptune almost has another blizzard ready to go, but Paradox falling, that will probably stave off the Quails for now. But again, you're getting out Blade, getting out Riley, getting out over to Ray. A great fight for the Quails, but Skyster gets staggered out here. Might be all for nothing as the car is just moving too fast. They will get the kill mercifully on the Baby Diva. So one more fight here for the Quails on the defense, and now a minute and a half in time bank, and just 2 ults here for the Roosters walking into the Blizzard of Neptune, which has been proven to be a huge turning point in this map so far.
Yeah, the Blizzard, but you have the Bob from Allegro. You just got the bomb from Wind. You have a lot of ultimates you can sort of aggress with here. And it looks like the Blizzard's going to be dropped so deep. It's going to assist on the kill onto EJ. And they have a stability to keep themselves in the fight. A well-placed bomb from Window is going to find 2. That's a turning point that you need if you're the Roosters. And Pneumonia showing off his heroics on the Genji. Shutting down Skyster in all manner, shapes, and forms. And Skyster, with the HP bar that he has right now, they need to retreat. They need to back up. All of the members of the Quails are going to opt to go towards this 3rd and final spawn door and eventually see if they can dwindle down the time bank a little bit more, because BOON1E, they've already got the advantage on this map. It's just how much more can they add on to this.
And I mean, 2 minutes is nothing to scoff at either on Point C of Hollywood, because that can go away very quickly. Just 2 fights, and we see the Roosters, or we see the Quails, knowing this advantage they have and playing very aggressively, opting to try to take multiple fights here on Point C. If they can get Pneumonia down here quickly, would be huge. Saikana uses over to Ray. She decides to go in with the team very aggressively here to push him back towards spawn. Let go down, and there you go. That's already 1 fight gone, and basically a minute off the bank for the Roosters. The Quails looking in a group which potentially sends to map 5. And now a lot of torpedoes get sent up from Saikana. They force out EJ to use the rally. That's a huge exchange, and Pneumonia dead already. As Cry off on this off angle through the choke gets that kill over on the Genji, taking that Blade out of the contention. And now Allegro still has Bob. But if you get one more ultimate from the Roosters for the Quails, you have won this map, I would probably say. Not much of a prognosticator, but that will be it. They go in with their own rally, opting to play aggressively. Finding EJ again. EJ down. I mean, they're losing this Brigitte so early in his fights. He can't build this rally and keep teaming alive. And I mean, you get one, but it's a 1 minute gone, and the court is at the doors once again.
I mean, it's just this aura of confidence that you're seeing here from the Quails. They're not afraid to go aggressive. They're not afraid to push into the spawn doors. And they're not afraid to take these very scrappy fights. And look at the ultimates. It's the Blizzard just in the spawn. Pneumonia can't really find much value from the Blade just because of that. And even though Neptune gets caught out, they just stall out the time bank in this positioning. Sure, the Roosters are going to win the fight, but the war, I mean, it's just looking so in favor of the Quails.
I mean, with 20 seconds, you're not going to cap. So you're now in an only drawable situation for the Roosters, and you got to still complete the map. And you're walking into the double hit scan as Neptune did swap over on to this Widowmaker, knowing this last little stretch of Point C is just full sight lines for hit scans to work with. Going in for a bit of jump shots, but the Bobs come out here early from both teams. But the Bob from the Rooster getting melted here from Skyster. Both Bobs taken down almost immediately, but a huge event from Saikana with the over to Ray, trying to push her team over the finish line here. 3 quick kills, and we are going to map 5. I mean, Wind is trying to stay live long as possible, but Allegro down. Pneumonia finds 1 on the other side, but all is just consolation stat padding from the Roosters right now as the Quails clutch on Hollywood, on Point C with aggressive play, and we're going the distance.
Yeah, and what better game, what better set of players to go the distance with than the Roosters and the Quails, BOON1E. I mean, it has been back and forth, blow for blow, and if you ask me to predict who would win this final map right now, I don't even know if I could. That's how close it's been. We're going to have map 5. It's been selected here by the Roosters. They've been tending to go for these brawl looks whenever they have the opportunity to, and they've won every time they've done that. But it feels like the Quails, I mean, they're just getting better and better. They're getting more synergized, more used to playing with Neptune. This could go either way, and there's only one way to figure out which way it goes. And it's going to be after a short break. We'll see you in a bit on Aurora Esports.
These beats are the purest.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Aurora Esports, where we're gonna have yet another map 5 banger. It feels like I feel like I don't say that word too often, but it happens a lot in Aurora Esports. We got so many good teams, and I think this game is really just showing off the best of the best right now. Ramshackle, Roosters, Quantico, Quails, showing off for their seeding, for placements. I mean, the Roosters, I guess they have one seed locked down, but the Quails, they could go anywhere as high as the 2 seed after this map.
And I mean, the thing that's extremely terrifying is the Quails have linked up with Neptune in just 4 maps. Like, we're seeing this team firing at full cylinders once again, and like the Roosters have been a dominant all season long, but we're seeing score lines now on both maps: 4-3, 3-2, 3-2. We don't talk about map 1, but we're looking at this series so close, and you think the Quails, this is just like their floor right now. They're only going to get better going into playoffs, which is a terrifying aspect for any team on their side of the bracket. We're going in now to map 5. The Roosters trying to keep, honestly, if I'm a Roosters player and I lose, silver lining, you lost twice, because nobody likes to go 15-1. Nobody likes to go 82-1 in the NBA roar, because then just that one blemish on your resume. But I'm guessing the Roosters probably want to try to keep this a win streak going alive and be the only team with double-digit wins this season. And now look at, Skycer going into the Diva on this map of Clash is an interesting look. We've seen it work on Hollywood, but with Wind on towards this Orisa, could be huge. And we keep mentioning that Kayson is not here, so that's a huge loss for the Roosters, and some of the Quails look to take advantage of here.
Yeah, and with this Diva, you kind of want to, I guess, go a bit faster, push the aggression. If you allow a long fight for Tukipook and EJ to do what they do best, and that is to support their team, you're just going to get outgunned, you're going to get outdamaged, you're going to get out-healed. So if I'm Skycer, you want to try to go onto that backline, force out some cooldowns, force out the utility, and make it so you're not the one who gets taken out with the first pick. Neptune's going to fall to Pneumonia, and Wind getting another kill. Skycer finally manages to get in on the backline, but it's going to be too little too late, as they're just going to be the last one falling, forced out of their mech, forced off the map, and forced to, I guess, sit with the unsettling reality that the Roosters are going to take an early lead on Throne of Anubis.
The thing is, I actually thought that the Quails had a good chance of winning that fight, because Cry went on this bit of a flank here and forced out EJ's immortality field very early in that engagement. So I thought the Quails would push their advantage on that one, but what Wind does is lands a huge javelin onto Neptune, can't block in time, and taking the Mei out of the equation is a huge exchange for the Roosters. Now walking forward, trying to take control of this high ground. Neptune has a wall to ice it over on towards Wind, but the immortality field is there in time from EJ to keep the reset alive in this fight. This feed ring for the disengage. High ground still in favor right now of the Quails. The point hasn't opened just yet. Finally opening up, but ults are ready for both these teams. Could be a bloodbath. And if we see a 2-0 advantage for the Roosters, Paradox falling low, taken down by Pneumonia through the icicles. Neptune just trying to flake on through, but the overwork from Tukipook team nice and healthy. Saikana opts in to meet them with that overray, but Allegro's High Noon finding 2. And that will just be point D going the way of the Roosters as well. In a great position and taking point D up 2 on Clash. You love the chance of potentially stifling the chances of an upset.
Yeah, and I feel like right now, if you're the Quails down 2-0, something's got to change. Obviously, you burn through these ultimates, great. Then that's the time where I think you need to make a change to the composition. The Diva with the Mei just isn't working well into this brawl situation, and Neptune hits another nice wall. It's actually going to be great to complement his Blizzard in this fight, but Blizzard's going to be exchanged from Pneumonia as well. It's not going to find as much value. Kray's going to drop in the Dead Eye on top of it too, so the Quails are likely going to, barring any crazy conclusions, Skycer did get demec'd there, but I think no major loss. They are going to be able to pick up this 3rd point and have a bit of advantage on this upcoming point, but still, I guess, a tall road ahead of them.
It is a tall road, but it is Clash, so we're going to be seeing all 5 points probably played, because that's how the game mode works. Skycer doesn't have a mech here, though, so that's a huge disadvantage for the Quails, when the fight really begins to break out here. Wind tries to get the kill if they can find it. That's a huge pick. Skycer had to just jump off the map there, especially when he knows his team won that point, because now your team's at a huge disadvantage of turn position. The Roosters taking full advantage of that early pick, and greenness from Skycer without the mech, and they're probably going to take point D once again, and sends to a point E down 3-1. The Quails in touch position, trying to bring it back with Paradox, using the rally. Does Win get punished here? No, Emer Tyfield just in time from EJ. But the bomb on towards the point from Skycer. No Emer Tyfield for this one. Finding Tukipuk. A huge comeback right now from the Quails. And despite losing Skycer early in that fight, bring it back and sends it back to point C, right back in the middle. Tie 2-2.
And that's exactly how you need to play this composition. If you're the Quails, you need to go faster. Otherwise, you lose your advantage. Once you run out of the DM, once you run out of the packs per brig, you're going to inherently have to play a lot slower than something like a Baptiste or something like an Orisa, who feel like they have no cooldowns at some points in time. So I want to see the Quails just keep going faster, keep going aggressive, keep hitting those nice walls and immediately following up on it.
The slight advantage here is Neptune about 10% more towards his Blizzard than Pneumonia, so it could be the go sign for both these teams. They kind of over to Ray. Allegro use the high noon, gets beeped up by the wall, but they find the Cassie down, and now Emer Tyfield invested here. Win falling extremely low, and they can hold on this Blizzard. That's a huge fight win for the Quails, and could be a map-changing, match-altering, seeding-deciding fight.
And Pneumonia staggered out. You talk about the, I guess, coordination, the explosiveness that the Quails are playing with right now. It's exactly how you want to play. But now, going on to this point B, you do have a bit of a spawn advantage for the Roosters. Kind of the first time you can say this in the series. So you're also looking at some very big ultimates. You have the Orbital Ray, you have the Blizzard you can play with in this fight, and they're looking to, I guess, fight for this high ground positioning, but it's going to be a double ultimate. The Blizzard comboed with the high noon, but gets javelined out of the high noon if you're Cray. You already get the pick onto Allegro though, so an early lead for the Quails, and Cray's going to clean up onto Wind. The survivability just not there in these final moments, and it seems like we're maybe going all the way from point E to point A. If you're a Quails fan, they may be sending it all the way back, turning this fight around and turning their future in Aurora Esports to the better.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that Wind shuts down ultimate, but the Neptune Blizzard was just simply too much for Aegis Emer Tyfield to stiff, keep the team alive through, and now we're going to need to see a similar salty run back. And actually, we're seeing right now the new kind of meta for Clash, which the Quails are opting not to fight point A. They might just be setting up here for the point B defense and taking the advantage on their point. Actually, they're finally going forward right now. They're playing a bit slow, trying to get someone back, I believe, from spawn. So potentially, I spoke a little too soon. Speed Ring is used early here, though, from Tukipuk. So Win trying to go through that one. Has Terror Surge ready to go. Skycer only one online with a bomb here. But Pneumonia's in a tough position right now. Emer Tyfield already gone. Could be a huge game-changing deciding factor here for the side of the Quails in this fight.
Oh, and if you're the Quails, 2 ultimates, that's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you need in this fight. Sure, the Roosters are gonna win. They were seeded to win anyways. They were expected to win this fight anyways. The spawns are just so close. It's so hard to overcome. But you get not only the Baptiste ult, but also the Terror Surge out as well. And you're looking so good for these next 2 fights. Granted, still a lot of Overwatch to be played here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw on point C last time that it wasn't the ult advantage. It was just a simple headshot from one of these mazes here. Pneumonia does have a big advantage on the Blizzard, so he could be going right back to point C here for a final real contest. And if they can survive this and win this fight, they'll have overrate advantage. But Pneumonia down early, not a good start here for the side of the Roosters. Still a 1-for-1 exchange on DPS for now. Tukipuk falling low. Skycer will clean that one up. We do have Skycer losing out on that mech here. Win going on towards the point, and this will be, it looks like the Quails taking this fight and taking the series. And that's a huge run back on Clash. Pneumonia swaps over on the Soldier for a last-second contest. And this is the first time in the series the team that picked the map has lost. The Quantico Quails have pulled off the victory here in Map 5 and set themselves in a great position for the playoffs going forward.
Yeah, and that's going to lock in the second seed for the Quantico Quails in a Map 5 game banger against the Ramshackle Roosters. They're going to be able to take it home, and I think they're going to be able to go into the playoffs confident in saying, we beat the #1 seed with a new teammate. We're only going to get better from here. We're only going to go up from this point.
And that's a kind of terrifying thought, especially if you're the any of these teams kind of that will face them on their side of the bracket. I think if you're the Roosters, this is not time to panic whatsoever, because you were down Casey Dunn, who in a lot of people's opinions is probably one of your better players. So being down him for basically the entire series after map 2. Still put a great fight against this new look Quantico Quails, and they're looking like a really strong, contender going into the playoffs. They're starting next week, or I should say 2 weeks from now. We're taking a break off, but regardless, a lot of teams, we're seeing a lot of parity at the top. We are seeing a lot of teams kind of struggling as well towards the bottom of the rankings this season, but our top teams, the circle of suck has just been completed for our top 4 seeds as well. So honestly, I love what we're seeing from both these squads, and I hope we can see a rematch coming in the playoffs and potentially a grand finals. If we can get 7 maps of that level Overwatch War, it's a blessing.
For sure, and I think that's definitely the possibility as the Quails move up to the 2 seed. Obviously, 1 and 2 seeds will be competing in completely different tracks of the playoffs. They won't have a chance to bump into each other until the grand finals, and obviously we're making a lot of assumptions saying that they're going to wipe out the competition, right? There are a lot of good teams this season. There are a lot of teams that can perform upsets here.
Still the Purple Apes, still the Sea Dragons, still, the Upstart.
Yeah.
Other teams out there, potentially like a Floppas if Shoreline Pie gets hot. There's the Foxes if you let them in the dance, could get dangerous to the cool as well. There's just a lot of potential players. The Bobcats on an even week, there's just so many potential big upsets going forward in these playoffs. The Frogas is another team to look up for, especially with Chloe's kind of tank pool coming back into the meta with the nerfs to Orisa. So honestly, Frogas could come back here as well. So the playoffs are not by any way decided whatsoever, but these teams at the top are going crazy.
They definitely are. And speaking of players who are going crazy, I think we should start to move our conversation on to the match MVP, I should say. This is the last time we get to give out one until the playoffs, I think, or at least probably I get to give out one until the playoffs. Do you have any people you're thinking about?
I mean, honestly, I want to give a shout out to the support line of the Quails today. Paradox and Seikana both playing extremely well on their respective heroes. And we saw we saw the map 1 struggles of their composition playing with that Lucio on Paradox. When we saw Paradox over onto the Brigitte, we saw more Juno as well, Ana from Seikana. Once this Juno pick and Brigitte came out, we saw the Quails playing a completely different game, able to go way more aggressive, helping out Skycer and Neptune, keeping them alive, allowing them to play that aggressive play style, keeping the team up and healthy. So honestly, I want to give to either one of those. War, you're the support player, so I'll let you make that final decision.
I honestly want to. I think both of them played really well, and both of them they've been comboing with the team so well. You can tell how practiced they are, how good of an understanding they both have of the game. I would honestly lean towards Paradox. When you look at MVPs, I'm always thinking about value for their SR, and Paradox for such a low SR player is just performing so well this season. So I'd be happy to give it to them.
Yeah, we can bring them in for a quick little chat here, get their thoughts going in the playoffs. Oh, we're in production too.
Yup.
Whoopsies. Whoa, that's the wrong thing. Production 2. I can
move to.
There we go. Finally, I decide what channel you're gonna go to.
Hello.
Congratulations on the win, a Map 5 banger victory over our number 1 seed in the standings, and congrats on the match MVP. Honestly, we just want your initial thoughts after this game after such a great back and forth affair for both teams.
I think it was a really hard fought win. I think getting Neptune was a really big boost to our team morale. I think that the Roosters played really well, and yeah, I think it was a very good game. I'm very proud of my team's performance.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we got to bring up here. The new player, you do sadly have to lose out on Elko, who I know is kind of a main staple of your team, but you swap him out, basically a 1-for-1 exchange on one of the top players in the league, MVP candidates in Neptune. I just want to know, I know you guys are really good in your comms, especially with Skycer leading the way in that regard, but how did Neptune getting added to this team? I know Neptune, known for those hard comms, known for that coaching kind of mid-match as well, so how did that really factor into your guys' preset comm organization you kind of mastered throughout the season?
Honestly, I think Neptune's comms, instead of kind of making us fumble, I think it helped us blossom. I think it changed like almost our whole play style for the team. Like we were playing a lot more aggressive than we normally would have because of Neptune's like comms and the calls that he was making to play, you know?
I mean, I was on a team in that team for a couple weeks, and I know the it's our turn comms is a very popular one. I don't know if you guys listen to that one whatsoever.
For
but-
sure. As somebody who's also been on a team
Our
with
turn, our turn.
Neptune. Yeah,
What
and
you got?
I guess, I mean, talk to me about like how it was like, I guess, syncing up with Neptune. I saw a lot of times where you were like supporting them on, I guess, off angles when they're on May, when they're on Ash, when you were on like, I guess, Brig for the most part. Talk to me how, I guess, those plays got set up.
I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't necessarily like Neptune asking me to take those angles like with Elko. Because Elko, honestly, he would just be like, Paradox, shield me. But with Neptune, it's a lot more like, I'm gonna take this angle, and then I'm like, okay, I'm coming with you.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And then obviously, I don't know if you know, but you guys will be moving up to the 2 seed, and I think that's a locked in position. Correct me if I'm wrong,
That is
please,
locked in,
Booney,
yes,
on
that's locked
anything.
in.
Yes. So reaction to that?
I'm honestly really happy about it. I know the PR team hates to see the Quails winning, but I am very proud of our performance this season. I know we've had like a relatively easy schedule, but I think we deserve number 2 seed after like all the hard work that we've put in and like the chemistry that the team has as a whole. I think we've worked really hard on that, and yeah, very proud of us.
And before we take El Clasico War, of course, 5 maps deserves 5 questions. I gotta know, you're going into playoffs now. Is there a team you are either A, scared of, or B, looking forward to facing in a potential grand finals, or just a bitter back and forth affair in the playoffs?
I mean, I think I gotta say the Sea Dragons rematch. Because we got 3-0'd, and even though it was like a close 3-0, I want a map 5 banger. I want revenge.
The salty run back is always, especially for us casters, we love our narratives around here, so it'd be a great thing to bring up. And or I'll go and let you take the El Clasico from me.
All right, Paradox, congratulations on the 3-2 win over the Ramshackle Roosters. But for your team, the Quantico Quails, you were decided to be the match MVP. But if it couldn't have been you, who on the team would be and why?
I feel like this is kind of like the no-brainer answer, but I feel like it's gotta be Neptune if it's not me, because I know it's like hard to see this like from a gameplay perspective, but I do think he led the way in a lot of our comms and like making a lot of those plays, especially a lot of those pushes into spawn. That's not really something that we have done in the past, but Neptune kind of gave us that push and that confidence to do so. So I think if it wasn't me, it should be Neptune.
All right, and yeah, again, thanks for asking our questions for the interview, and congrats on the 3-2 hard-fought victory against the Roosters, and we hope to see you guys again deep in the playoffs for another banger.
Thank you. Thank you for prodding. Thank you for having me.
We'll send
I'm
it
very
back to your team
excited.
to we'll send it back to your team to go celebrate. Go have fun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, War. I think that might be the first time this season we've expected a Mat 5 banger, and we've actually been delivered a Mat 5 banger. So, very exciting, especially going into playoffs. And how much that the implications of that was coming in with the seeding going forward. Now the Quantico and Ramshackle Roosters set for potentially a salty run back in the grand finals. Now on the other side of the bracket. Looking forward to that one, War. And any initial, closing thoughts on this match? And now you said probably your last game for the playoffs. So, what are your thoughts going into playoffs, man? Who do you, prognosticate potentially being a team to look out for?
I mean, honestly, like, this whole season I've been focused on getting, I guess, my team to the playoffs. I know there's a few spots still up for grabs from the Fapapas, Foxians, and Bobcats. So we'll have to see exactly who gets into the playoffs. But I've been a Quails believer. I was, I guess, halfway through the season convinced to be a Roosters believer, and I think that the Purple Apes, even though they've lost some maps, like, I don't know, I feel a connection to that team. It's got some of my goats. It's got Panini, it's got Tommy Slat, it's got Pokemon Guy, like, honestly, all of them are my goats personally, but like, I don't know, I still believe in them, even though they've lost some very, I guess, close bouts in the past. any of these teams are so good. That's the thing, and that's what's so interesting about, I guess, Aurora Esports. It's teams that you make with sometimes your friends, sometimes new players, and you bond with them, you grow with them, and over the 8 to 10 to 11 weeks that you play together, you make yourself into this cohesive unit that will win and will lose, and no matter what it will be, it'll be together. So I'm just excited to see the playoffs start, and I'm excited to see all the narratives we're talking about like fully fleshed out.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it. Look at the size of the brackets we have, especially like the Sweden Slouchers, the Quails on the same side, the Roosters, Sea Dragon same side.
Yeah.
And I mean, if any team can pull an upset, you know, there's like like you said, the Foxes coming in dangerously with Aphiseka Cool, always a problem. The Bobcats with their stellar backline. The Froggers with Chloe being able to clutch up potentially and, you know, drag her team to grand finals. Who really knows? And Purple Apes with the hopefully trying to break the Panini curse. But we pray for Panini to potentially make a GF here. But now going forward, our next match, I believe, I know
we're tomorrow.
I need to go. Yeah, the Foxens, I believe, is at 8 o'clock. I just want to make sure it's getting prodded. Oh, yeah, it is by me. Anyway.
9 o'clock, 9 o'clock. But yes.
Yes, Friday at 9 o'clock, Foxens and Froggers. Foxens, of course, trying to claim that 8th seed here in the playoffs. Will be hosted to you by me and Wind, you know, from Roosters fame. Going to bring it to you guys here. And also on Saturday, another important playoff matchup. Saturday, November 9th at 8 p.m., Floppas and Purple Apes. Brought to you again by me and Win. So yeah, it should be 2 exciting matches here, 2 important matches more or less, as we try to finalize our playoff bracket here going forward. The action is only beginning though, so if you are not currently following the channel, make sure you do so and join our Discord to get updates on our games. For War, I've been BOON1E. Thank you all so much again for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your evening.